Let's talk about vibe coding. The term was coined by Andrej Karpathy beginning of February on Twitter, and you see he says, "You fully give in to the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that the code even exists." So it sounds fantastic. Since then, we've had a huge discussion on the internet about vibe coding. Is it good? Is it bad? There are many opinions, and the best material that I've seen is from WebDev Cody, so huge shout out. He programs more or less daily and he vibe codes. And so I want to also show you this dedicated video where he programs with his wife, and his wife has no IT background whatsoever, and they try to explore how far do they come together given that she has no background. You see in this video that it's still quite difficult, and also when I look on at the reactions on the internet, I see that mostly people who have a lot of experience like it. But does it hold for complicated business applications? As you know, on this channel we develop a pricing tool. So let's see if we can program a pricing tool using vibe coding. Let's find out today. Welcome back to the MeshWeaver channel. Our job is to help you manage and understand your data. My name is Roland, and I'm here today with Stefan, and we are vibe coding together. So Stefan, what do you know about vibe coding?
So hi Roland, very little. I know a little bit from you, what you explained to me, and you mentioned it, but I didn't really have any experience myself with it. So I'm curious to find out how you deal with it and what it can do and how far we can get with it.
I mean, it's also brand new. Just looking at Visual Studio Code. So first of all, you see that I have a greenish icon here. And this is Visual Studio Code Insider Edition. So all of this is super brand new, and you really have to get preview releases of everything to even get started with it. But if you get this Insider Edition, then you have a new thing here. Before it was just Copilot chat, and now you have different modes. So you have Ask mode, you have Edit mode, and you have Agent mode. And so vibe coding is very directly related to agent mode, which is also what we are putting here. When I look who likes vibe coding and who doesn't, I see that most often people vibe code where I think they are used to dealing with junior people. And as we will also see today, vibe coding has a lot to do with working like with a junior. So we will have to be very patient with the LLM, we will have to give the agent instructions. So the same goes also for the prep work. So I always say you have to do a good mise en place. A lot of people say that this kind of vibe coding is like cooking. So there are also vibe coding tools that are called chef, and they actually, even in the progress when they are working, they say, I'm cooking. And so for every good cook, we need to do the mise en place. So I have actually done the mise en place here, and I have already created a layout area. We have talked a lot about layout areas, and today we want to build a layout area where we want to symbolize the structure of a reinsurance deal. And so to do this, I have prepared actually quite a lot. So first of all, I have this empty layout area. And since we work a lot with Markdown, I also thought we would generate a Markdown diagram to really symbolize the structure of this reinsurance deal. And as you see currently, the Mermaid diagram, it's empty, and we can even look at it in the GUI. So as we see here, I have created a number of example pricings, and so we can look at one of them. And so currently we get this cute little bomb because it's an empty mermaid diagram, and so Mermaid gives us a syntax error. Obviously, we cannot start this completely from scratch. So I have developed most of it in vibe coding. But since we want to keep the video to a certain duration, I will only show you some sort of smallish example. And so what I have already done is I have created what I call a view model. So I have a data model for a reinsurance contract. We have discussed this before. Since this is a very dedicated purpose to visualize it, it's usually quite good to create also a dedicated view model which is really optimized in terms of what we want to display here. So actually we can even now start with our Copilot here because it's actually a good introduction. So Copilots are also just humans, so they also need time to wake up, and they also have their Monday mornings. And we need to kind of make this digest a bit what we want to do. So the way I start with Copilot is I say, hey, Copilot. So I'm also giving Copilot always kind of a warm-up task. So in this task here, I'm giving him the job to actually analyze this and produce me a Mermaid class diagram. So it's quite normal, so we can speak while he's actually working on this, so it's quite normal that it will always bring whatever view is visible here in the screen, it will automatically attach it. But as you see, I also give it here explicitly references to files and classes and tell it to do it. So now it has created this Mermaid diagram. Let's see if it's finished. Yes, it has finished. So now let's just see what it has produced, and then we can also digest this. So this Mermaid Live, this is a live editor where you can draw your own mermaid diagrams. And now we already see it has actually produced this, and we can see now what this is. So data cache is only something that I use to draw it. But you see here how it works. So we start top level with a reinsurance pricing view model. We see that it has a name, so this is the name of the pricing. And I also put top level, I put already a line of business and a customer, so we can see how we want to precisely do it. But I thought this is a nice way of saying who it is. So one pricing consists of many acceptances, and there we see also to the acceptances I gave now a name, and then obviously the share of how much you write of this acceptance. And then it has already here, it has a few things that are defined on the acceptance level, like for instance, a list of commissions. And then obviously we have the sections here. So each section has some sort of descriptor here where we can choose a number of dimensions. So this is typically, it changes always a bit by company. So I chose some kind of standard data language. And then we have inheritors here. So you see every time it says extends, it means that this is actually inherited from this. So we have different flavors of sections. So we have reinsurance sections, and we have model sections where we have the actual models attached, but we have also aggregate sections. So let's see where it draws this. So it has actually failed to understand that there is also aggregate section. So here you see it's really like working with a junior. So we already cross-checked that it has not fully understood the domain. So we need to actually also tell it to fully appreciate this. But then here we have then the loss models below, and in the loss model we can either reference another section. So if we want to reinsure the deductible of another section, or we can have a frequency severity loss model, or this is currently the third type of loss model that I have modeled, which is kind of just pre-sampled losses. So here obviously we want to also keep adding, so we will add your loss model from your pricing model. So maybe just quick feedback from you, Stefan. Do you think you would understand the structure more or less?
Yeah, the structure is relatively familiar, so this is nothing new. Yes, it's the kind of things you've seen before.
Yeah. So I think both of us are not doing it the first time. But you see, for Copilot, it's the first time. So it was actually a good introductory task. So as you notice, so I have formulated this prompt here. We have to now really speak to our Copilot to say what it should do. I'm definitely saying, look at what you have already done. So I made it already digest this data model. And now I'm giving it instructions in terms of what it should be doing. So I'm saying I want a mermaid diagram. I'm telling it in which file it should actually write it. And then I also say that it should pick some color palette. So I have typically not much of an opinion on colors. But so I heard also that we have colorblind people. So let's say, so we can also say, give it such instructions. I have no idea if it can deal with it, but normally LLMs are quite good at this. And then I'm also telling it that it should make the cards clickable. So I'm giving it the URLs which it should make clickable. So let's see what it's doing. Now you will see this is this agent mode. So everyone says that 2025 is the year of agents. And here it's actually a good way of understanding what an agent is. Because you will now see it cooking for a while. So in Microsoft is politically correct and says working. In other systems you see that it says here cooking. So it's now cooking, and we will now see that it's doing quite a few things. And even the edits, sometimes it iterates them, sometimes it first edits one thing and then it edits the next. So it literally thinks almost like a human. So now you see it has done the first edits.
Can I ask a question here, Roland?
Yes, please.
I mean, it could be that your instructions are not precise enough, or maybe the agent misunderstood something. How does it deal with it? Does it come back to you and ask for more precise instructions, or do you have to find out the result and then go back and tell it, you need to make this and these changes?
It can be either. So if it really doesn't understand, it usually tries, like all the LLMs, usually tries to please you. So usually tries to do something with whatever you have told it to do. But sometimes it really doesn't understand, and then it asks you to be more precise on what you want. But normal way is like what we are already used to. So normally you just see whatever it's doing, and then you iterate it from there. So you see also it told us what it has actually considered. So this is actually, it plays back to us what it has understood from us, which is not so bad. But I see here it made now mistakes. So for instance, here I see that we have errors. So again, going back to the definition of Karpati, we don't look at the code, but we just want to give it now the errors in, and it should actually deal with the problems. So I'm just going to copy paste the errors, and now I let it understand itself what it did wrongly. So this is still where you see a lot of differences between the tools. So there are many tools. So the one from Microsoft, this integration in VS Code, this is brand new. But there are other tools which are forks from VS Code. For instance, one is called Cursor, and they are already quite a bit better. So I mean, this is super evolving, and so this is also every day you see them, they work a bit differently. Also, Cody says they have good days and bad days. I noticed this as well. Sometimes it makes you brilliant things in one go, and sometimes you give the exact same prompt and for some reason it cannot deal with it. So it's still cooking. Now it did something. So at least the problems are gone. And now again, going back to Karpati, we don't even look at this code. We can then do it anyway at the end. But let's just restart it and let's just see whatever it has produced.
So I understand correctly, it writes it directly into your file and doesn't present it on the site, and then you have to put it in there.
Yes, you can also do multiple files. So if you use standard tech like React or this kind of standard web tech, it will even create you a project from scratch, and it will create you all the elements in the project. It will put you many files, and you can just run it.
And if you have already a project and you want to add something, can you tell it to look into your files and try to understand the existing project and then to fit it in there, or is this not working?
This is still a matter of context windows, and as we speak, just yesterday, OpenAI has released GPT-4.1, which has now a context window of 1 million tokens. And so far, Google was the lead in terms of context windows. So they had this Gemini 2.5, which had, I think, 10 million tokens window. And there, of course, you can fit the entire project in. But now I'm using here Claude 3.7, and Claude doesn't have this form of context window. So, and this feels a bit repetitive because each time you have to really decide what's relevant for it. But clearly the trend is, so I think if we do the same video just 1 month from now, the context windows will be big enough that it's doing something. So now let's see what it has produced. So it has produced this, but so I see already, probably it's really taking my my state to make it friendly for colorblind people, but now in dark mode it's hardly readable, right? So I need to tell it to put at least a bit more contrast font. But from what it has done, it's not so bad. So it has created, at least it has created this structure. So I think that's indeed what is in the acceptances. So I think this you see it's 2 acceptances with dependent sections. So it has understood that it has 2 acceptances. We need to probably tell it to label them. Then it has put me the sections. It hasn't put the section name. And it has understood that one of them has a frequency severity model and the other one links to this section here, right? So actually it's not bad for the first go. So let's now iterate it a bit. So I have now given it a bit of feedback. So first of all, I just pasted in a screenshot here. Actually, all these multimodal LLMs such as Claude, they can also understand pictures. So you can as well just attach a picture to your prompt, and usually it helps because it starts understanding itself. Like for instance, now I want to criticize the white font, so it will understand itself that this is sub-ideal. And then I have given it more instructions. So I said that I really want, so if we look at it again, so I think it will be difficult for people who are not used to seeing it like this. And so I told it to make a title with really which object is it, this is an acceptance, or this is a section, or this is a loss model, and also put the name of the section in the title. And then I'm also going to tell it that it left aligns the text, because I think otherwise it looks like a Christmas tree. So we let it cook again. And you see, so it's really very, very similar to how I would interact with any junior. So any junior I would let produce such a thing, and then I would look at it, and then I would give feedback, then I would send him back. And you see, the only difference is that the LLM actually iterates now in a matter of, say, 10-20 seconds.
Well, it's also how you interact with yourself. I mean, at least this is how I work. I produce something, and then I look at it, and then I realize maybe I need to change something, and then I adjust it. So you can iterate with the LLM, you can iterate with the junior, you can iterate with yourself, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's actually even better because, with every junior, he would make me typically draw what I want. And this is already where I'm bad at. I'm much better at programming it myself than, for instance, drawing by hand. And this is something I appreciate with Copilot, because it comes with the first suggestions without me doing anything. So in contrast to the junior, the LLM is more patient, so it lets me iterate even 1,000 times. So at the moment, it's more or less the context window that's limiting. So at some point, it just explodes. So now you see it's really much faster than any junior. So it came back. I see it already did a lot of layout changes. And so I wonder if it's going to put the titles as well. So you see it works in iterations. So it now first it created the colors. Now comes the next iteration. So it probably really tries to do now step by step what I told it to do. I'm doing the Carpati, so I'm blindly accepting. We let it cook for a while. It was about 2 minutes that it cooked. And we saw it did several editing rounds, and eventually it also summarizes me what it has done, and it's pretty much what I told it to do. And now let's just start the code again, and then we will see what it has produced. So we see already the font is now good, right? So it's now quite well readable. So we also see you don't need to tell it where to pick white and where to pick black. So it kind of understands how to contrast. Now we have this, so it says the type, so it says this is the pricing, it says this is the name that I have chosen, obviously, so I chose them to do them. We see also here it has now chosen as customer still reinsurance companies. So this is also, by the way, all the example data I also did with Copilot. So I will then tonight do another prompt to tell it pick primary insurance companies as customers, and then it will randomly pick a few here and it will adjust the data set for me. But actually the rest I like quite a lot. So it put the 0 share, which is not so nice, but this is again example data. So I need to tell it to pick better shares everywhere. And then we see probably it was only these dimensions that were set. So it can be that we didn't set all of them. And then eventually we get here the frequency severity and the section loss model. Now we see already it doesn't display me the frequency severity parameters. So this is definitely something I'm going to tell it to do. And I would also like if here it would put me really an arrow pointing to the section here, because this is actually the retention from here goes into here, right? And typically it puts so it takes here flow diagram. So typically the arrow is difficult to put it in the other direction, but let's see what we can do. Then let's check what it did regarding the links. So top one is not linked, it's fine, I didn't tell it to. Then here we see these are standard dialogues that come with MeshWeaver. And here I would like to quote Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, who said, forget about CRUD applications. So CRUD is create, read, update, delete. So he says this will all be gone with LLMs. So I go even further and I say you don't need to write the code at all. So here we have just the standard view. This comes with MeshWeaver. You don't need to program it. And I just do this, and you will see here I can even put the share to 0.7. I can update, and now it's saving it, and all of this already works out of the box. So here not even Copilot had to do any work.
Question here, if you put 0.7, this means 70%, or is it 0.7%?
Yes.
Yeah, so
yeah, we should probably choose it in percent. You are right. It's okay. Then similarly, we should get editors for section. Yes, they are also coming. So again, this is standard editor. We see that this parent is not very nice. We need probably I can just remove it from the view model overall. And then frequency severity, here I made a dedicated editor and it picked the... So this actually was my vibe coding session from yesterday night. But you see, it's also here, you can actually choose it. So we could now choose, instead of binomial, we could choose a Panzer frequency. We could choose a different severity distribution. All of this is now possible. But here, I don't like that it doesn't show us the parameters here. So let me tell it. I'm now telling it to put me all the information of the frequency severity models into the box. And as you see, it's also here, I speak to it like with a junior. So I give kind of examples, what it should do, and what it should be looking at. So we let it cook again.
In the meantime, I have another question, Roland. It could be that at some point you, instead of giving the instructions, you say, okay, maybe I want to modify the code myself. It's faster than explaining to the LM what to do. Does this work? Can you make changes to the code and then it will go from there? Or this is not possible?
Yes, it works sometimes, but you have to really tell the LLM that you have modified, and you have to make it aware that it must again read the file, right? Mm-hmm. So you put it again, so you can always reference the file with hashtag file name, but you have to kind of explicitly say, I made changes, because otherwise you run the danger that it just overwrites the changes again. So now it stopped cooking, so it cooked for, I would say, 3 minutes now. And let's see what it has done. So first of all, you see it has iterated many times, but then you see also it has understood itself that there is something called frequency distribution. So we could even open this, and then you see it has actually analyzed all these models here, and it has really understood, there are different types. And then it's really cute. So it comes back to us and it says, hey, actually now I understand the problem that every distribution can have different parameters, and I need to check out how to do it. And then it did other iterations. It then notices itself, now I generated compilation errors, then it fixes them themselves. So I never had to actually do this, and at the end of the day, it says what it has done. But again, we do the Karpati, so we don't actually see what it has done. And instead, we just restart the solution and we just see what it has produced. So this is now the latest state. So it shifted the order here, but maybe the order was just simply not well put by me. What I don't like is that it puts it on a new line. So I would say we omit the title here, and then it should just say frequency and then the type on this line. But otherwise, actually, it has managed to understand the type of parameters, so it has put them. So I would say it's quite good progress already, and it found out time model annual. This is not good. So actually the time model also has inheritors, so here we would have to iterate again. So just to show you, I did quite a lot more over the weekend. I did it all in vibe coding. And actually I like this so much what we did here that I'm going to build on what we have done today. So I had a different one that you saw this morning, which I had already vibe coded over the weekend. But I kind of prefer this state. So I think tonight I'm going to continue on this and finish it a bit. You see, so I vibe coded then also a GUI where we can simulate. So we can choose number of simulations, and then I also chose to compress the simulated distributions a bit. Let's run it. So you see now even 10,000 simulations. So it's a time model. I think I have 5 periods paid and 3 periods incurred, and you saw it can do everything below 1 second. So it's 0.9 seconds now, the time to simulate 10,000. I think it's extremely fast.
No, maybe I have another question, Roland. If you go to the different models in the paragraph, you develop them independently, I guess, in the first step. And now you, in this example which we just looked at, we came up maybe with different, let's say, color settings and the like. Now, I guess it would be easy to tell the agent to take these settings and apply it to the other models.
So I didn't choose any model in particular now. So I told it to do it based on the data model. I never even showed it that we have examples. It just so happened that I clicked always on the same. But we can as well now click on any of the other ones. So let's click at basic proportional. So this is what it did for basic proportional.
Ah, it already uses the same color scheme.
Well, I never told it to do it on one example. I told it to do on this data model, and you see they all work. I just picked one with 2 acceptances because it's a bit more interesting to visualize. But so these are actually rather trivial to visualize. But you see it even saw this one. So this has a section which has a common AAL, for instance. And then it understands, aha, here I have these 2 models, and then I assemble the section together, and then I have a common AAL on these two loss models. So even this it could understand from what I have done. So it's really, really powerful. So let's conclude here for today. So I hope that you were a bit impressed what can be achieved with vibe coding.
Just imagine what we experienced now the last couple of months or years with the Copilot, and now we are making this step here. So you can only imagine what's going to happen in the next couple of months. So this is just one additional step into what we even don't know what will be possible in the future.
Yes, and I think we clearly demystified during this session. So I hear from IT departments, AI is not for us, you know. AI is just to program games. But I think we have clearly shown during this session, no, it's actually you can do something as complex as building a reinsurance pricing tool with it. So I think this is clearly demystified. And if you made it this far into the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Happy weaving.